I'm starting a new observation, and I'll just explain this for documentation. On the wall I've got a series of test tubes set up. These will be the warm reds, cool reds and earth reds here. There's 8 test tubes in each with a small square of natural cotton paper that's unsized. It's quite textured and quite rough and raw. What I'm going to be placing in there are each of the red pigments that have been a part of my study with just tap water in it. I'm going to fill the test tube at this time, not place a lid on them, as one of the previous problems in Gol Gol layer observation number 6 that was started at Hazelhurst Gallery. I had to put a lid on them because it was in a public space, but by putting a lid on it I trapped any sort of foreign bodies in there. So some of the colours reacted in a really grotesque way and formed a fungus and black mould and all sorts of things, which did expose some interesting things about those colours or those particular pigments, or what may be in that paint also. But I want to see these colours go from wet state to dry state. So today is about documenting the wet state of those colours, and considering that the university is still in lockdown, I've got access to come in and put this experiment or this observation study up, and then just leave it be and come back in and just document its changes until hopefully it evaporates and I'm left with the papers, just like this one here, which was done in the large cylinders, but on a smaller scale, so that I can do a more concentrated study on them. So I'm going to get started. So I'm in at UNSW Art and Design. It's the 22nd of August, and the last time I saw this observation, which is Gol Gol layer colour observation number 7, was on the 1st of July when I installed it. So it's been an observation in isolation, and normally I would be agitating the colour and documenting it as it's made changes, but as you'll see from the previous documentation, all you could see was colour and the paper was placed into it, and you can see how each colour, they were the crimsons, they're the earths. The particular character of each of those pigments becomes evident even more so when they're just left and not played around with. And it now is 1250 hours later. It's the 22nd of August, And so it's been the observation that hasn't been observed, which is kind of completely different to the previous 6 observations where I've monitored their change, I've documented what I could see. So this is a completely different observation for me, but in some ways it's also highlighted the significant difference between wet state pigments and what we use as artists when we pour it straight from the tube and we're working with it straight away, and what happens when it dries. It's actually Scarlet Lake, that's cadmium-free scarlet, that's cadmium scarlet, which had some issues with moisture with the paper. This one is cadmium red, and it has a very notable stench about it, which we've evidenced in all the observations if they've been over a period of time. Next one is cadmium free red. So that's going to come out. Yes. hasn't really grabbed a hold of this paper in the same way, but it has on the edges. And it's starting to get some nice staining that's happening here, which has been indicative of the cadmium-free colours as opposed to the traditional cadmiums, where they've granulated but not had these almost like tidal marks. Well, this one was particularly gross. It actually has like a congealed big globular thing, and there's a few more that have sort of developed throughout it. I'm not really sure whether it was actually in the vessel. I did see this happen on the other ones, but not really big spots like that. So I'm interested to know what that might be. That said, there's some really nice colouring in it. And that's my lucky last one, almost. This is Windsor Red. Which looks rather beautiful. So that's the warm reds. Not looking so warm though.